So for 3 years, the Vancouver Canucks have walked this tightrope, Ed, trying to win, but trying to develop. Willie Desjardins' first season, 101 points. The 2 seasons since then, 75 and 69, and obviously that's not good enough. It seems to have at least brought some clarity to the organization.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, looking back, I think that one little whiff of success they had was the worst thing that could have happened for this organization. I think it created a false sense of where they were, but I agree. I think from what I listen here, and their actions do speak louder than words, going back to the trade deadline, the moves they made there, and I think that's been reinforced over and over again. I think they are serving the rebuild now, and I think it is interesting to say there's, you know, look, it's always a crummy day when the coach loses his job, but when you look big picture, I think they can see a roadmap out of this mess now, and I think there is a clear plan with clear priorities, and I don't think you could say that for the last most of the last 3 years.
Well, certainly the plan wasn't clear to people outside the organization what the plan was, although going back, the first trade that Jim Benning made was Ryan Kessler for some younger players, so I think to some extent the arc has been kind of building, and certainly now we're seeing that they're all in on development, which is what they need to do. They have so many young players. The key is to get those players now to be better, and Trevor Linden referenced, interestingly, I thought, the time he returned to the Canuck organization as a player in 2001. There were all these young players around. There was the West Coast Express with Naslin, Morris, and Bertuzzi. There were other players as well, and the team was kind of in its ascendancy. Now, that team, when he came back, I think had more established players than what this team has now, but it does have an awful lot of 24 and under players. That number is probably going to get bigger, and that's why I thought it was interesting, references today in the press conference, although Benning and Linden didn't want to directly say that Willie Desjardins wasn't the right guy to develop these players, but they certainly made it a point to say that the next coach, this is going to be a top priority in getting these players to be good pros.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but I think the other interesting thing here is the role for the Sedins going forward, because it's almost like, I don't know if catch-22 is the right term, because it's their importance off the ice is going this way, their importance on the ice is going this way. So they have to maintain that leadership presence, that Yoda thing in the locker room, give these kids direction, help create a culture for these young players, while at the same time ceding their preferred position on the power play on the first line. And that's the next delicate dance they have to do. But I think Daniel and Henrik are smart enough and committed enough. I think they understand what's in store for them.
Yeah, and Linden said that'll be a year-by-year assessment on the Sedins. It's a day-by-day assessment on the hockey club.